What is going on, comic fans, Legionnaires, movie fans, whatever you're into, pop culture related? We're probably going to be touching on a little bit of all of it tonight. There's a pretty decent week, a couple of bigger things to talk about, and kind of running a rerun from last week's attempt to talk about a brand new documentary that should be taking the comic fandom by storm. I know it did when they first announced it, but I'm wondering how many people had a chance to see it. We'll be talking about Legend of Kingdom Come. We'll be looking at Predator, Killer of Killers, the brand new film, reviewing new comics, and even diving into the Eisner Award nominees this week. If you want to check it out with us, don't go anywhere. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Joined as always by my partner in crime, Sector 2815.
Man, we got a lot to do tonight.
Yeah. Kind of, right? Kind of. 3 good topics and comic reviews. I was telling Paul a couple weeks ago, I'm going to work on trying to get a more consistent format to the show, which is kind of funny because it wasn't 10 minutes ago. We just finished recording tomorrow's DC Deep Dive, and we just, at the seat of our pants, threw all this together. literally minutes ago. We came up with I mentioned in passing getting a format together, some like transitions, like movie talk, this and that, and then just threw this together. We're always planning on talking Predators, put it on the thumbnail even. And as you can tell, the Monsterverse is back. So anybody that is not a fan of the kaijus and monsters, you're going to hate me this year because the Monsterverse is back, rocking and rolling. Big battles, big heroes. I'm very excited to talk about that. We will be talking about that, but also be diving into Predator, Killers of Killers. Just premiered on Hulu this past Friday. This is the second Disney outing with the Predator franchise, and they are batting 1,000. I'm very excited to talk about that a little bit. And ultimately, it's going to be 4 distinct stories to talk about with the story structure of it. Very unique. True. It's pretty much an anthology, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That all kind of come together at the end. And it's directed by the same guy who did Prey, and the same guy who's directing the new one, Badlands. So
yeah, this gets me even more hyped for Badlands. I was already excited, and I'm not blind, nor am I crazy. Well, I'm not blind, so I see how weird that young Predator looks in the trailer, but that doesn't deter me from wanting to see the movie one bit. It just makes me curious. We've never seen a young Predator, but dude, they're crushing it. Alien Romulus, Prey, Killer of Killers. Like, why wouldn't you trust me at this point? They've given us no reason not to. 20th Century Fox has been really strong under Disney's ownership.
Yep, absolutely.
Gotta call a win when it's a win. That's the only way to be fair. But yeah, they've been crushing it. And Alien Romulus' sequel is about to go into filming, and we have Alien Earth, the TV show, about to take off in August, right? Is it August?
Not sure, but sometime over the summer.
Yeah, late summer, and we got like a full trailer for that this week, and holy potatoes, it looks amazing. So yeah, a lot of good stuff to be excited for. And again, big shout out, congratulations, kudos to Disney. I don't get to say that often, but it's important to say it when they've earned it. You got to let them know when you like it. Like if no one has a hard time letting Disney know when you don't like something, myself included.
Yeah.
But when they do something good, it's even more important to be even louder so that they notice and think we should probably do more than that. Whatever made that work, we should do that some more. But let's hit the chat real quick. Say hey to some folks. Kicking it right off the back, we got Chris from Chaos and Comics rejoin the Legion membership. Let's hit him with a clip. Big shout out and thank you to Chris. We got Take Prime in the building. What's going on? I'm excited for his Kickstarter to get here. I think it's in the printing or shipping process of them. They got a lot of orders to put together and get out, but I backed the Kickstarter that Tate did called The Shift. Kind of like this Predator movie. It's like 4 different creators going at the same story, but with their own artistic style. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for it. And I got the Dick Skin variant that Comic Journey did. Did you back that project by chance?
I did not.
It's okay. I'll send you a copy to read if it's good. If it's good, okay. I'm not wasting the shipping. If it gets here before we go on vacation next month, I'll just bring you a copy.
Okay.
Because I got the package that had like all the covers in it.
Okay.
And you just have to remind me to open it when I get it. Otherwise, it'll just be sitting here in a package.
Right. We won't see it for 4 years.
What's funny is Brian's Kickstarter, The Doctor, he's done 2 issues now. I haven't even opened the first one yet. The first issue is actually on these short boxes. I put it there before I stacked the McFarlanes on it. So it's holding the McFarlanes up.
It's more of a base for figures than it is for anything else.
Yeah, I told him when he finishes the Doctor trilogy, then I'll read it in one sitting. So he needs to hurry up and get issue 3 out. What is going on, Pop? Good to see Pops in here. It's time to end the week. Yes, it is. Throwing that Hulk emoji. You get access to those custom emojis by joining the channel membership, by the way. Steven with the C, what is going on, homie? Hey, John's Comics with Kids is in the building. What is happening? It's summertime, John. I seen him rocking the sleeveless last night. School's out for the summer. Paul in purple.
Can I say that one of the things I really like about this shirt, besides the logo, by the way, but is it's very light. Sometimes you buy these shirts that have the printing on them, and it's like wearing a tent.
That's very true. You can actually get that shirt at legionofcomics.shop. Great way to support the channel.
This is a very light shirt with compared to the other ones you would get with the screen printing on them. So
yeah. Hashtag thick Predator for the win. Oh man, there was some thick Predators in there. Hashtag can't spell. I don't blame you. Mark getting hyped. That's unusual. Yeah, a little bit. It's important to ride for what you're into, man. You want to, if something's good, if you like, all right, if something's good, it's important to ride for it. There's a lot of stuff I like that I don't hype up. I'll tell you right now, a whole lot of stuff that I enjoy that I don't hype. But if it's good, try to make sure people hear me. Make sure they know in hopes that they try it. That way I have more people to talk about it with. What's going on, Eric Thompson? Good to see you in here. AR, what's up? Alien Earth comes out August 12th. Thank you so much, Joe. What's up, big guy? What are y'all searching for? Kids are out of school. Why do you look like you're up to shenanigans? Just keep the water outside and don't squirt the dog. Okay.
We're making a mess outside.
That's fine. That's what outside's for. Keep your mess out there. 38 member milestone chat from AR Chaos. Absolutely. It's at Wellspring, the printers. I'm getting excited. Getting close. 3 years later. There's lightweight t-shirts. Chafe my nips. That happens to the best of us. Jaffer Kasha, what is going on? Hello
they make
to
some
you.
cream for that.
Yeah, they do. Paul, where do you want to start? What are the 3 topics? Predator, Eisner, and what else?
Predator, Eisner, and Legend of Kingdom Come.
Let's start there, since that's a layover from last week. So the epic saga continues. So if you missed out last week, I'll get you caught up. There's this movie called Legend of Kingdom Come. It's a documentary about creating the most iconic, greatest comic book of all time, Kingdom Come. Alex Ross and Mark Waid.
Is it though, really?
It is. It definitely is. You know it is. I don't know. It might not be for you. It is for me. But they announced on Kickstarter they were going to run a Kickstarter to fund this movie. They wanted a $56,000 total. They got what was it, like $500,000 or something?
Yeah, some of that, yeah. Like,
it was ungodly. They smashed it.
Like,
the version that I got, as well as Paul, is this one with the Green Lantern
called the Emerald Edition.
The Emerald Edition for first hour backer or something. If you backed it in the first hour or two, you had an option to get the Emerald Edition. So I got it. Got this Blu-ray in, put it in my 4K player, sat down on the couch, put my feet up, wouldn't play. Formatting issues. So basically they made this on a cheap disc that if you have a 4K player, it just says that you can't even read it. It looks like something foreign. But we found out from talking to Paul, if you put it in like an older Blu-ray player or regular Blu-ray player, it'll read it. I spoke with the people at the Alex Ross shop, let him know that it wouldn't play. Also let him know that going on the Legend of Kingdom Come website where you're supposed to be able to watch it on that website, the portal to watch it wouldn't even work. It was saying that I didn't have access. They said on their end, it looks like I did. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. So ultimately they sent me a private link for me to be able to watch it myself. And I did. That's how I watched it. I still didn't get to sit there, put my feet up. I had earbuds in. I watched it while Finn was taking karate this past Tuesday. So I didn't get to watch it how I envisioned to watch it, but I did get to watch it, and I did get to experience what they had to offer. And even watching it on my phone with the earbuds in, sitting in the lobby at the karate school, I even shed a single tear when Mark Waid was talking about his introduction to Superman. And so it hit. I can't even imagine how it would have hit had I been able to sit there in my gym shorts, my feet up, and just the good sound system and all that. But $108 all in. They also, and that's what I got to watch it on my phone with earbuds in. But they sent me another copy.
Did they?
They did. I didn't ask for a replacement copy. They sent me one. And because I've got friends in low places, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours who's Alex Ross adjacent. Because the people that put this out, who do shipping and stuff for the Alex Ross shop, we have a friend that works with them in a different department with them, but I talk to him every day, and he's told me to reach out to this person. I didn't reach out to that person, but he had already went ahead and talked to him the very next day on his own accord without me asking him to. He's like, hey, you need to check this order and blah, blah. So I got another one. So I've got numerous copies of this.
There you go. None of them will play.
Yeah. So
however, if you put 3 of them together, you've now extended your base of your figures.
Good call. Very good call, Paul. So this one even has the extra cards in the lanyard. So what I think I'm going to do is one of them I think I'm going to take to Heroes Con. So everyone knows I've got the Comics Curing Cancer booth I'll be at Heroes Con. We'll be selling the very, very, very limited 2025 art books with cover art by David Sanchez. Now, if you're not going to Heroes Con, you can go ahead and pre-order one of those. There's only a couple left available for pre-order. comicscuringcancer.bigcartel.com. You can go pre-order one today. It'll ship out as we're leaving for Heroes Con. So you'll get this book in hand Heroes Con weekend, just like anybody else who's attending Heroes Con. But this thing is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And then we also announced we had our second exclusive for Heroes Con, The Crow Dead Time, issue number 1 by Ace Continuado. This is a big time collectibles collaboration with Comics Curing Cancer. The fantastic folks over there donated half of the print run, only 300 copies. We have 150 of them. You can also pick those up today at comicscuringcancer.bigcartel.com. Art book, The Crow, available for pre-order so you don't miss out. All the proceeds go directly to the American Cancer Society. It's a great cause. But I'm asking anybody attending Heroes Con to be my eyes and hands on the floor. While you're out there shopping and looking for stuff, just ask the vendor, you got any Turok 1s? You got any Turok 1s? You bring me copies of Turok 1s I'll be at the C3 booth. I'll just keep a tally mark of how many everyone brings. Whoever brings the most by the end of Saturday, depending on, I'm wondering Saturday or Sunday, in case a lot of people leave Sunday, and I'll give you a copy of the Legend of Kingdom Come on Blu-ray. So, great way to get a cheap version for just collecting Turok 1s and bringing them to me. I need them.
So if you're gonna give them a copy of Kingdom Come that doesn't play, should they bring you Turoks with no cover?
No, I have a cover. And they play on Blu-ray players. But yeah, I have to talk with my buddy again. He was going to test them out on an Xbox and a PS5 to see if they play on there. So far, it's just like they don't like 4K players.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like 4K players. But I'll probably give away this one that has the lanyard, the Kingdom Come lanyard, and the art cards and everything in there. So there's collectible stuff in there as well. And again, it cost $108 for Paul and I to get a copy of this thing.
Just for bringing him Turoks. So.
This Emerald Edition. This isn't the standard version. This is a sealed copy of the Emerald Edition. So great way to get a hold of that. Yeah, there you go. Louis, you'll be there. Bring me all the Turok 1s, baby. And, if you bring me the most, you get that $108 Blu-ray collector edition. Yeah, I think they'll have good success with it. They'll have good success with it. That one's going to do really well per its budget, especially that they're filming it on freaking iPhones. That's so creative. Apple has struggled at the box office with their films. International audience will give F1 a chance at the box office. F1 is going to be a financial just flop, dude. It's one of the most expensive films ever made. It's niche. I'd love to see it. Would love to see it. I'll definitely watch it at home, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it to the big screen to see it, which is crazy to think about. It looks like it's an IMAX experience.
Yeah, and I mean, to Kevin's point, Formula One is much bigger overseas than it is
Massive, yeah. I bet it does really good over there comparably. But Apple has I don't know if they even make these things. Like, can you remember how Amazon did Red One, and they had like they were gonna make it for Amazon Prime, and then at the last minute, like, yeah, let's give it a theatrical run, and it did great for them. They were like, let's make another one. It did really well. So every dollar it put in at the theater was more than they ever expected to, because it wasn't built into their model to begin with when they made it. Wildly expensive movie, but with places like Apple and Amazon, these aren't streaming companies. These are giant tech companies. These are like Amazon's the biggest store in the world. These streaming platforms, they're just for fun. They have no bearing on their business model ultimately. I mean, it's loss of money, but it's just they're tinkering with it. It's no Disney, it's no Netflix. It's a horse of a different color, so they're able to do a little bit more. They're able to lose millions of dollars with stuff like Rings of Power or Argyle or whatever Apple movie of the day is kind of thing. But the quality at Apple is just unquestionable. We say it often. I'm holding out for the DVD. Nice. Families will go see How to Train Your Dragon live action at the theater. International audience will push this film to make 400, 600 million at the box office. Yeah, that one's going to do well. That one's definitely going to do well. We talked about that before, how I was kind of gauging. I like to gauge the temperature in the room. And I found out with just paying attention that the young adults are going to be what push How to Train Your Dragon in an unexpected way. I'm not going to say that's going to be their biggest charge of people, but I learned that there's an entire generation of young adults. I wouldn't be surprised if a large groups of college kids go together to see this, that grew up with those movies, and when they saw that trailer, it hit them in the feels in a way they didn't expect. And that shot for shotness that they're doing with it looks like a pretty true to the source material shot for shot remake. So I think that one's going to shock a lot of people. I know Universal has a lot of hope in it. They've invested a lot with that franchise. There's numerous additions to it. There's numerous spin-off TV shows. They did an entire epic park based on it. I think there's a larger fandom for that than most of us know, because people don't.
And when did the original movie come out?
Golly, I'd say probably about 12, 15 years ago, maybe even more.
Right. So what I'm getting at is that, well, we still haven't even finished talking about Legend of Kingdom Come, but
started, have we?
Yeah. What I'm getting at is, I think there's a sweet spot for these type of movies too, is like 12, 15, 17, 18 years after the original comes out, because you have the kids who watched it who are now adults who want to take their kids to go see it. So, you have the adults who want to see it because they remember it from when they were young, and then they want their kids to be exposed to it as well. So it's still kind of in the cultural zeitgeist, or whatever you want to call it. It's not like Snow White, which is, 80 plus years, 90 plus years since it really was around. And yeah, they would release it on video every 7 or 8 years, but it
was nobody's favorite Disney movie anymore. They're long gone. So yeah, it's 2010 was How to Train Your Dragon, so 15 years ago. Sweet spot.
The parents will be 25, 27, 28, 30 years old now. So.
Yep. I know Emma, she's about to be 18, and she likes How to Train Your Dragon. And again, definitely with how streaming stuff is, stuff just like lives there. So like, when we were coming up, there was a formula to it. It hits the theater, you wait. It hits video, you wait. It's on TV. But then the next generation is just excited about whatever's new to them. Nowadays, like everything's right there. Kids just grab a remote. It's for me now, It's not really shackled to a specific generation. But yeah, I think it'll do good. I watched BTS on NBC the other night. I'm looking forward to it. 12 books in the HTTYD series.
On the TV.
That's cool. What is BTS?
Behind the scenes.
Oh, very good. What is going on, Cliff? All right, let's get into it. The Legend of Kingdom Come, the brand new documentary. about the making of Kingdom Come. It's about an hour and 17 minutes and 24 seconds long. And I don't really know what to say about it. Well, first off, was there any really new material for someone like myself or Paul or Brother John for wherever he is right now? I didn't see him in the chat yet, but I know that our good friend Brother John's Comics, who's on with us from time to time, he'll tell you like his first foray into comic book internet was chat boards back in the day when that book was the hype of it getting ready to come out and going through the fortunes of it releasing. But what was your experience watching it like, Paul? Was there a lot of new stuff in there? Was it just kind of a trip down memory lane? What did you feel?
Kind of a trip down memory lane. My honest opinion is I liked it, but I wanted to like it more.
I'm right there with you. I'm in that same pocket.
Because right from the very first line, is, "Oh my God, Alex Ross is an amazing artist."
And that was like, probably the first line, the 37th line, the 54th line,
and it was really kind of so. Yeah, I mean, I know what you said, and I was the same way with Mark Waid when he was talking about going to the movie theaters and he didn't know what he was going to do, and he saw Superman and he knew that whatever he did when he grew up, it was going to have to do with Superman, bring the tear out. But even that doesn't really kind of directly reference Legend of Kingdom Come.
Nothing to do with Kingdom Come. It was just a beautiful moment for Superman.
And they showed Alex Ross's art. I'm sure you got stoked that they showed his Terminator, Alex Ross's Terminator. So they showed a lot of his art.
More than a history of Kingdom Come, they barely unpack Kingdom Come itself. They don't do any unpacking of Kingdom Come. It's kind of just an artist showcase of Alex Ross, told by like who are some of the guests? Todd McFarlane was on there.
Mark Waid, Bill Sienkiewicz. Bill Sienkiewicz was on there.
Jimmy and his wife were there.
Yeah. Jimmy Palmiotti and
they were all just kind of just like glazing Alex Ross the whole time, rightfully so. I'm not saying this man doesn't deserve it, but there was very little connection beyond just his art was amazing when this book came out and no one expected it. We got backstory on Alex Ross, which was cool, going through his backstory of training and his job stuff. So you got a little bit of that like building into it, which that's cool, play setter. But I wanted to get more of like what inspired this story. Like how much of this came out of your brain and Mark Waid's brain. They talk one time, Waid says in passing, like his favorite part of writing any story is sitting down and going back and forth with the person he's writing it with. He prefers that other than just sitting there on his own, just throwing ideas on paper. Like talk more about that. Talk about the inspirations to it. Now they did talk about Norman, who Alex Ross's father is the actor, and Alex Ross has legitimate actors for his artwork pieces. He has recurring models that he uses, that he does the photos and paints them. So his actual dad is the actor who plays Norman. And they talk about that, how his dad was an actual preacher and everything. And that was like the best kind of in-depth Legend of Kingdom Come we got, was just about Norman, which was important. But I wish they would have had a lot more of that.
Yeah, and I mean, and Alex Ross mentions that, he had just come off of Marvels, and so what he wanted to do next was he wanted to do something with the Justice League, and that was, that project kind of, led right into that. But yeah, there was, they should have just called it The Wonderful World of Alex Ross, something,
Yeah, it was cool getting I did like, and this really goes to it, Alex Ross's main art rep is the actor who is Shazam, who's Captain Marvel in the book. Now that's a great piece of Legend of Kingdom Comeism right there, that this guy who thought comics were goofy and this and that, and the story about how like he screwed up the cab fare and stepped out, and he just happened to like, oh crap, I know this guy Alex who paints, let's go in here and check out this galleries guy. Then he got a job as the model and thought it was goofy when he put on this goofy Shazam suit. The next thing you know, years later, he's like this super well-off, high-end art dealer for Alex Ross and like one of his closest friends and stuff. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
There's plenty of good stuff in there.
But again, that's referencing Alex Ross, not necessarily the story of Kingdom Come, which is what I want.
But that came out of the story of Kingdom Come from his job working for Alex as a model in Kingdom Come. That's a Legend of Kingdom Come. It's a little in that aspect.
I'll give you that, I guess.
It's not in continuity story. It's more like this. The story, like there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. That's a BTS.
Ooh. People in the know. Like with I guess the only thing I was expecting too was like, okay, you know what? Maybe you talk to Paul Levitz, who was the publisher at the time. Why did he want to do something like that? Maybe, talk to Mark more about how he developed all of his storylines and, the different things. And, you know, did he really get, all of those different Houses of Thunder from Alan Moore? He probably wouldn't answer that, but, all of those different things. Talk to some of the people that were in the business of doing the Legend of Kingdom Come, of doing Kingdom Come, and hear more about the comic and the business and the whole release and everything else, as opposed to
Mhm.
just, wow, Alex Ross's art is great, which it is. I'm not denying that.
Yeah. It'd have been cool to get like sales numbers.
Mhm.
Like that would have been awesome because they do talk about like how they did some of the promotional stuff for the months leading into it. There'd be these like ambiguous Kingdom Come posters with silhouetted characters looking like Armageddon and stuff. And
Yeah.
the hype was crazy and everything was like, and this was one thing I didn't really like put into context. Like when that book came out, everything was sexy ladies, pouches, and guns. Everything. We were in the Image explosion, Heroes Reborn, all that stuff was going on, and this was like a return to comics in a way that no one had seen before. You're returning to something classical and traditional, but you're portraying it in a way like never seen before, making it brand new.
Hyper
Like
realistic.
what really got me, because like anyone that's read this book, like it's that's like the message in the book as well. Like this whole new generation has come along and they're just destroying the world because they've lost sight of what matters. They lost sight of universal truths. They have no morals. They stand for nothing. Values are out the window. And you bring back the person who embodies all of that, who people will call antiquated, old school, goody two shoes, and it shows that those things don't go out of style. They matter. And that's like echoing through the zeitgeist of society right now with the marketing for this brand new Superman film and in many different ways, a return to the classic. And like there's things about this character that stand the test of time. He's almost had 90 years of unbroken publication in multiple forms of media, and there's a reason for that. And they talk about it a little here, a little there, but I would have loved for them to unpack it. And sometimes I can be a little picky. I live in this book. Like I think about this book daily for numerous reasons. For one, I mean, like I got like this is just sitting here now. Like I look at this literally every day. But I mean, I've got like I got Kingdom Come stuff everywhere. I've got like my Alex Ross DC Direct figure up there from Kingdom Come. But it's just like good reminders. And I've read all of the Fords, all the bonus pages in the trade paperbacks since I was in third grade. I've reread this book more times than I can count. I've had more discussions with it. So thinking that this would go into a depth that would really satisfy me is kind of unrealistic. Like, so I don't want to like give it too hard of a knock, but I would have loved for that. But at that point, I think I would just need to sit down with Mark Waid or Alex. And if I ever get this, just hit me up. We can talk. We can talk Kingdom Come for hours. I got questions. You got answers. We should come together, make it happen. But there's a lot of unfairness, I guess, in expecting all that because this is meant for everybody, not just the psychopaths like me.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still think that even having said that, they did a very cursory, very shallow take on Legend of on Kingdom Come itself.
It's super shallow. That's for sure. It's just scratching the surface.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't do any kind of in-depth breakdown of this book at all. None. Except for Norman.
Right.
Which, dude, how great was that? Actually getting
absolutely.
Alex's dad in the documentary.
Yeah.
What a delightful little man. They didn't have the actor for the Spectre there. That could have gotten awkward. Bro, wear your pants. Where are your pants? Oh man. The word Magog was not said one single time in that documentary.
Right.
Guess that wasn't their goal. Our good friend John from John's Comics with Kids was talking about people reviewing things based on their expectations not being met. He felt that's potentially a disingenuous way of reviewing something. I don't think that's that's always the case, nothing's ever all one thing. But in this case, like, I think you're going to get a lot of that. Like, get the untold story of how the story came to be. But it's been, what we saw in this has been told, because I was aware of it.
Right.
I don't know. It was so good. I can definitely see myself watching it again. That's for sure. Because I've revisited a lot of these comic documentaries, especially that Up in the Sky one that they did for Superman. That's a good one, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they included it on the 4K set, did they?
I don't believe they did.
And we know why, but maybe on the next set they will.
Maybe because of the narrator.
Yeah, that the narrator or the director of one of the whole movie.
Right. True.
Who knows? All right. Oh man, so yeah, definitely recommend checking it out or bringing me your Turok number ones. Go shop around, pick me up some dollar comics because I won't have time to get out there and hunt at Heroes Con. Bring them to the Comics Hearing Cancer booth. Bring all the Turok number ones. Whoever brings the most, we'll get a copy of Legend of Kingdom Come on Blu-ray. Just have to remember to bring it now. I'll make it happen. All right. Next big thing up, big movie release this week. Predator Killer of Killers, brand new film from the same creative team that brought us Prey, which is one of the easily it can't go any lower than number 2 on any normal person's list for if you rate all the Predator movies. But this is the second outing for the Predator franchise since 20th Century Fox is under new ownership of Disney. And this is the first time we've gotten an animated feature film, anything for Predator. And it was absolutely bananas. It was super good, very true to Predator stuff. It was formatted in a very special way. It was 3 distinct stories called The Shield, The Sword, and The Bullet from different time eras. You had some old school Vikings, some old school samurai, and then a World War II story called The Bullet. Ultimately, these stories led into a 4th installment where those 3 characters from those stories all converge. But we can take them one at a time and start with The Shield, which is our Viking story. You follow this Viking lady who's taking her little clan on a revenge mission to go after this guy that killed her father, and she's bringing her son along in this. And her revenge mission ultimately leads them to where they want to go. They take on the opposing little tribe face to face with the man who killed her father when she was a little girl, who's now an old man, and her son, who's a young, nervous to get the job done. He actually just swings a killing blow on the guy, and they're about to celebrate when a predator just drops in and starts slaughtering them. You get this dogfight between this Viking lady and this predator. And she ultimately wins, falling through some ice and chaining him up and dragging him to his death, coming out just to find that her son was one of the fatalities by the predator in the commotion. Her revenge quest ultimately led her to where she loses her son. What do you think of this first one called The Shield?
Well, I'm not as much like Terminator. I'm not as versed in Predator as you are, but I enjoyed it. The animation was incredible.
Yes.
It is very violent for an animated movie. So, hey, Christina. So, which you're probably expecting with a Predator movie, but it was. I mean, the animation alone blew me away. And like I said, I'm not versed in Predators. I love Vikings. So put them together, and I'm like, you're good to go.
Win-win.
Exactly. And they did some pretty innovative things. Not only was the animation incredible, but also whoever choreographed a lot of these fight scenes as well did amazing work.
Yeah, it was super solid. And it was called The Shield because this woman, these shield, she's holding 2 shields right there, and you can see it's not a perfect circle. There's blades on there. Those are her primary weapon. It was interesting. And then we get into our second story called The Sword with a W. And that we go to is it called feudal Japan? Is that right?
Yep.
And we meet these two young brothers, it seems, that are kind of pitted against each other in front of their father, trying to impress them to get the samurai suit. And one of them's a little softer than the other one, it seems, doesn't want to fight the other one, and the tougher one kind of puts a cut to him, and he runs off. fast forward a few years, he comes back in full like ninja mode, cloaked, sneaking into the palace, cutting people down just to get his sword back to his brother, and they start fighting, going at it, blah blah blah. Ultimately, he falls out of the window and presumably dies.
Mhm.
And while the tougher one's standing there looking down on what had happened, the predator shows up, been stalking and watching, and sees this apex warrior of the two, and he tries him up. Guards come in, big battle, again, violent. This dude's like slowly put on his gear throughout the fight with the predator, which was awesome as he's putting on like his armor and stuff in the fight. And hopping on rooftops, running for your life, diving off of buildings, going through water. Ultimately, for the one, find out the one that fell into the water and pops up, and they actually team up and fight against this predator. One of them dies in the process, but they take the predator down. It was intense. It was kind of heartfelt. It was dope.
Yeah, it was again, everything I said in the Viking thing, double for this. The fight sequences were impeccable. They were amazing. And obviously it's easier to make them impeccable when you're drawing them because you're not going to make mistakes. But the animation was incredible. You get the obviously how it's the older brother is because he comes back with a scar on his cheek, which the other brother gave him when he was young, when they were fighting over the sword. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, this was my favorite story of the four as well. Eric Thompson said this was his favorite in the anthology. Yeah, it was, violence was there, the tension was there. I don't know if this might just hit for people. It's kind of a relatable story. Brothers, whether you have a blood brother or just a close friend you grew up with, you kind of feel a lot. And the team up fight between them and the Predator, we kind of get a showcase of some of the tech. One of the cool things about any Predator franchise, any Predator movie, is whenever there's a new one, there's always new tech, new gadgets, new weapons, inventive ways that the Predator takes people out, always violent, like the famous net that catches someone and tightens up, or the disc that he throws that's like a smart disc that expands, the spear that expands. He's using all kinds of stuff. And one of them in this was a spear that once it stabs, it opens up. And it was cool because one of the brothers saw that happen to one of the guards. So when they're facing off side by side against this predator in the woods, he sees a spear coming. His brother ducks the spear, but then he dives and pushes his brother down before it can open and kill him. And there's this really cool, like, retractable weapon that he's shooting out and dragging him back in with chains. It was intense. And it ended with both of them at different sides and the predator trying to kind of hide from him with his camouflage on. And they're just sitting there, and we get this beautiful bookend to the way it starts with the two brothers there and leaves falling. They're standing there just focusing. It looks like they're looking at each other like they're about to go back to fighting each other, but they're watching the leaf fall. And as soon as it stops without hitting the ground, they both just take off, and you get this epic samurai moment of them flying through the air and both swinging a cut. And the predator comes out of camouflage mode just to fly into pieces. And you're just like, holy smokes. It was intense. It was intense.
Yeah, they did some interesting ways too for like the anchor through the head.
Yeah. Yeah, that was in the shield. Yeah. Yeah, she used his weapon against him. He had like this device on his hand that he could pull it back, and it kind of was almost like a sound weapon, like a sonic little blast. But he went to sonic blast the Viking lady, and she just put her shield up, and when it hit it, it pushed them both backwards, and the predator's head went right into an anchor and out his mouth. Like that was intense. Could 100 predators take a gorilla? Probably. And then our third and final solo story was called The Bullet. And I'll be honest with you guys, this one got a little goofy. This is our World War II story. Starts in Florida with a son broke down his little hot rod, dogging it out. Dad comes to repair it, saying, can't repair it for you this time. You got to learn to do things on your own. I won't always be there to save you. And hands him some mail that just came in where he was drafted. He gets drafted, and he's an engine mechanic for airplanes on an aircraft carrier. Some pilots are out doing their thing when they start getting attacked by something in the air, so more pilots go out, and he ultimately goes out with them. They're fighting a predator in a spaceship. It's just taking him out. It has this harpoon weapon that it's almost looks like a smart weapon that it tracks to. It goes and shoots things, and it's made to rip rip engines out. It's almost like a harpoon that hits, and then a little engine cuts on to yank it back. And it's really a dogfight between a high-tech Predator ship and some World War II aces. It gets a little out there for having two extremely grounded stories to going to a guy flying a plane, then getting out of the cockpit and climbing out on the wing and kicking like a bomb off of it. And
Come on, Tom Cruise did it.
this guy is not Tom Cruise. This guy is not Tom Cruise. You know what's crazy is that looks less ridiculous in real life than it did in animation. Yeah. I love how a woman could lift the anchor and on land, but an 8,500 pound Predator couldn't lift it in the water.
An 8 foot, 500 pound Predator.
8 foot. I missed that part. Was it the same anchor?
I don't know.
She had that little anchor she picked up to drop on his head. Girl power. Yeah, it was dope. But the World War II one was a little weird. Got some creative ways to throw attacks at the Predator ship, ultimately using that harpoon technology against it and drawing his own ship back to it. He did some cool stuff like fly it over some really active war zones in a dogfight where it was just getting just destroyed by air to ground artillery and stuff.
Yeah, but there were also some kind of, there were he realized, it's following heat. So he goes up high, and he turns off the engine. So there's no heat coming off the engine.
Yeah,
he goes high so he won't see the heat from the bodies because it's cool up there, So, there was some interesting parts to that as well.
There definitely was. It just got extra creative in that one. But this kid was a creative kid. Like that was kind of the shtick of the character as well. And then that's where it takes us to our fourth and final story. And that's where we find out that the main character from the Shield, the Sword, and the Bullet, all three stories have been taken by the Predators. And this isn't the first time we've seen the Predators do this. In part 3, technically part 5, if you count the AVP movies, called Predators, starring Adrian Brody. Great warriors from all over were scooped up and thrown into like a game preserve, and they were hunted. And these people, they earned their stripe. If you killed a Predator, they took you and they put you into a battle arena where you're supposed to fight each other to the death, and whoever survives of the three is to face the leader of the Predator clan. This guy right here, the design is insane. He's got an entire cape made of spinal cords, and they got little bombs on their neck, and they get creative. They have to fight some big predator creature. We've seen other life forms from this planet in other movies. In Predators with Adrian Brody and The Predator, we saw the hunting dog, all kinds of stuff. But we see a big one in here. It reminds me of the White Martians from the John Carter movie in a way, but the mouth on the other side of the head. But they have to defeat this thing. They end up getting the collars off because little creative kid manages to weasel out, get some vehicles, and they go drive up to the top where they have this awesome fight between the samurai and the Viking and the big bad Predator here. They don't beat him, but they fight him long enough to start to get away. The samurai loses his arm to a spear violently. They almost get away when they get anchored. And so the Viking lady just full sacrifice, full send, jumps out and takes the shield and busts the harpoon so that they can get away. They don't kill her. They pick her up. The lead Predator looks at her, with respect. This is a warrior, hunter, mindset to this entire race. They're not mad at her. They're impressed by her. What else can you do? Can you beat me? I want to fight you. So they're all holding her while they look up at them escaping. And the Predator, the lead, just looks back at his people and says, "Let's go hunting." And about that time, other ships get up. They raise up and take off after them. Perfect ending. There's no, "Oh, we just killed you," or "Oh, you make me mad." You don't see anger in Predators. They're so thoughtful. They're so methodical. They've got this hunter-prey mentality to everything they do. And that you could tell that excitement in the hunt at the end just kind of left me grinning, wanting another one immediately. It was cool. What do you think of the big finale in the World Battle Royale?
Oh, it was great. It was phenomenal. And you know what? It made perfect sense too to me. Kind of like she was protecting her son before. But the other thing I want to mention too is that's not exactly the end, because then they put her in a stasis tube, and as they're walking past the stasis tubes, you see the girl, or maybe it was whoever from Predator Prey, is in one of the tubes as well.
Yeah, so, she was awesome.
Yeah, you see her.
This is as far as you go
Yeah.
And that's great you mentioned that, because when they get into the arena, that explains a big Easter egg. So when they get into the arena, they're all given a weapon because they're told to fight each other. The winner will fight the leader of the Predator clan here. The Viking is given a shield. The samurai is given a sword. And the World War II guy is given a gun, but it's
like a musket from the Revolutionary War.
It's the classic Revolutionary War pistol from Predator 2 that Danny Glover was given, and from Prey, the old girl got in Prey. So that explains how the gun got there too. She's been taken into the Warrior Clan. That was amazing. That gun needs to be in every Predator from here forward somehow. Like that's the piece. That's the Annabelle doll. It's in all of James Wan's movies, whether it's an Annabelle movie or not. Hell, even the first Aquaman movie, if you go watch that, when Jason Momoa and Amber Heard they go to the little junkyard underwater and they open the container and get into the little boat car thing, and they go driving toward Atlantis or going over the heaps of trash. The Annabelle doll is right there that they drive over. Yeah, Joffrey, it was super good. He was Anakin in episode 1. Who was?
I don't know.
I know the actor who plays Anakin in episode 1 because that's the little kid from Jingle All the Way. But that's all I know him from is those two movies. Spartan type culture, absolutely. What is going on, Jersey boy? Happy Sunday, legends. Watching Predator right meow. End of sword. Leaving before spoilers. We're past the spoilers for you, my dude. We just finished up the movie. But we will say, as well as everyone in here, seems like the consensus for a lot of people is sword was a lot of people's favorite stories. Just wait, man. You're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. It was amazing.
It was.
All right, let's take a look at some of these Eisner Award nominations. Paul, while I get this pulled up, will you tell everyone what the heck the Eisners are?
The Eisner Awards are the awards that are given out as part of the San Diego Comic-Con that are given out in honor of Will Eisner, who created the Spirit, who was one of the most prolific comic book writers and artists at the dawn of comic books, basically, or shortly thereafter. So did you want me to bring it up? Is that what you said?
No, I got it right here.
Okay.
This is the Oscars for comic books. This is the biggest
really
annual prestigious award you can get for comic books.
And they're given out for short stories, for series, for writers, for artists, for letterers, for all sorts of type of things. And these are the 2025 Eisner. I will take animation like this over the real thing all day. Absolutely. So best short story. And then the other thing too is I like actually it tells you, besides what the story is, who wrote it, or it also tells you the publisher in case you want to go search that out, because oftentimes you'll see publishers here that you may not actually realize.
Yeah, there's a ton that get listed every year that, I mean, even though we read these every year, I still see ones I've never, ever heard of.
Right.
But this is for best short story of the year. Anything Sinister by Ross Murray. Fantagraphics. Day 1703 from Desert Island publisher. Pig by Fantagraphics. Spaces in DC Pride 2024 #1. They got a DC one in there. Water I Loved Moving Day. I have no clue what that is. Mutha Magazine. Have you heard of Mutha Magazine?
I have not.
See, there we go. You Cannot Live on Bread Alone by Fantagraphics. So it looks like Fantagraphics is really, really crushing it for the short story.
They do a lot of reprints of like older Disney stuff too, or they did anyway.
My drawers were shut, buddy.
No, the little countertop for the TV sticks.
So best single issue one shot coming up. We have Abortion Pill Zine, a community guide to. I'm not going to be able to read that. Anybody by Silver Sprocket. Ice Cream Man, if you know Ice Cream Man number 39. The creators on that, Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo, are doing the Kryptonite story in DC later on this summer.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah. Pee poo poo. You wanted me to read this one. By Silver Sprocket. Again, Silver Sprocket, Sunflower Silver Sprockets. Unwholesome by Charles Burns. And The War on Gaza by Joe Sacco and Fantagraphics.
So you got no DC in that one.
Nope.
No DC in that one. See, best continuing series, Department of Truth. Nice. James Tynan seems to get a lot of love in these things. But Department of Truth for continuing series, which is kind of ironic because it's been on such a long break. I think in the last year it had 2 issues.
Mm-hmm.
But Detective Comics by Rom V, Tom Taylor, Ricardo Federici, Stephanie Raffaella. So that's interesting. It looks like a full creators list of all the people who worked on it because they just switched over to Tom Taylor for these.
Yep.
But Rom V, definitely, that's awesome to see him get some recognition in there. Mikkel Janen's name is in there as well. Fantastic Four by Ryan North. I know that I'm not reading it, but high praise from our good friend Aggressively Relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Santos Sisters. I know my good friend Lady Fantastic, my big sister on the YouTube game. She's told me a lot about that series. She speaks very highly of it, but that's Floating World Publisher. And then Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman from Marvel Comics. And last but not least, Wonder Woman by TK himself, Tom King. So DC's got a couple on there, got Marvel a couple on there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a solid list right there of ongoing series. Wonder New Gods wouldn't fall till next year. That New God deserves to be on this list somewhere. I don't know if that would be 2020.
Yeah, probably would be for 2024, probably. For 2025, rather. Although, no, it's like issue 6. Issue 6 just came out. So, I mean, the first issue would have come out right at the very end of the year.
That's fair. That's fair.
Best limited series.
Best limited series. Yeah, Alan Scott Green Lantern. I feel like this book has been painted through the awards. This was a rollover book, right? From 23 to 24?
Yep.
So it's got this isn't the only awards it was just nominated for either. There's what was it? Because Tim Sheridan was sharing about other awards outside of the Eisner that it was just nominated for. I don't know if it won or not. But
I don't recall. This one actually has a couple by Tom King. Animal Pound by Tom King and Peter Gross. The Deviant by James Tynan IV. Helen of Windhorn by Tom King and Bilquis Evely, who did the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Rare Flowers by Rom V. And Zatanna, Bring Down the House by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez, which I can guarantee you Mark has not read.
I haven't, forward or backwards. DC clocking in multiple entries again. Same for Boom Studios in that one. No Marvel.
No.
No shocker either. Best new series. Here we go. This is going to be interesting. Absolute Batman from DC. Absolute Wonder Woman from DC. Obviously Scott Snyder, Kelly Thompson. And then we have Minor Arcana, Boom Studios. The Pedestrian from Magma, Liquid Hot Magma Comics. The Power Fantasy by Image and Uncanny Valley by Tony Fleece, which is the one that's almost like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit style thing with the cartoon characters inserted in there. That's an interesting category right there. I think the Absolute Batman has to take it though. Despite not being my favorite, it has the biggest ripple effect in there, right?
Yeah, Tony Fleeks did that one with the dogs, right? I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, and the one with the cats.
Yeah, Feral was one of the cats, right?
Feral. Yeah, it was like Zack Snyder's 101 Dalmatian, Stray Dogs. I don't know if anyone even cares about these.
Yeah. Let's get down to writers and artists.
Yeah. So they do early readers. There's gonna be a lot of categories. Like there's one for kids books, for teens, best humor publications. I mean, obviously the ones that we'd most care about are those the ones with the books that we read. But it isn't limited just to capes and adults, but they cover all kinds of stuff on here. Best reality-based work, best graphic memoir, best graphic album. What is that? What is a graphic album? It's a new category.
I don't know.
I know what a graphic novel is. It's a way that people say trade paperback when they're too embarrassed to admit they read comics.
Oh, you think it's a new category? I'd assume that it was a best graphic album of new material as opposed to reprinted material.
Oh, it could be because I wouldn't know either way.
Yeah,
best graphic album reprint. Here we go. At least they didn't call it a facsimile.
Exactly.
Best adaptation from another medium. Best U.S. edition of international material. Get on with yourself. Best U.S. edition of international material, Asia. Best archival collection project strips.
Mhm.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Best archival collection project of comic books.
Mhm.
Fantagraphics IDW Standards
Comics,
Manual.
DC Comic Style Guide.
Yeah, from Standards Manual. I noticed when I look at the solicitations back in the day, Paul, that there would be I forget what company does it, but they do like these little one shots or collective volumes. I think they're comic book size, but it'd be like showcasing like a Marvel artist or a DC artist and their work, like a Jack Kirby one or a Ditko one, but it wasn't printed by DC or Marvel. It was someone else.
Tomorrow's publication they do creator. They're like magazines based on just individual creators.
Yeah.
They're the ones that do Tomorrow's publication. They do Alter Ego. They do back issue. They do Jack Kirby ongoing. So this comics
that makes sense. Best comics related periodical / journalism. So is this like magazines or something?
Yeah. Yeah, like the comic shop news that you might get somewhere. They have the Zdarsky news that he does that now.
Yeah, Zdarsky comic news edited by Allison Schul. Now, would that be considered his Substack?
No, it's the he actually does a printed thing that'll send to. It's just like a flyer. It's got like maybe four pages. It's a one page just folded in half, and it's hilarious. But he talks about things that usually it's like things that I want to read, and it's all his stuff. And then he does like another comment says things that I really want to read from other people, and then they'll list it. But yeah, Alter Ego is Roy Thomas's magazine, printed by Tomorrow Publishing.
Nice. Best comics related book. Now, is this like a book?
Yeah.
They don't give you breakdowns of this, but so these are like biographies or whatever.
Yeah.
Fantagraphics is all over the place with a lot of this stuff. We got three of them in that category. Best academic scholarly work. These get in the weeds, man. Best publication design. So much like the Oscars, there's all kinds of categories and stuff that we wouldn't even think about. Best digital comic. That's interesting. Europe Comics 1, 2, 3. Then 4 of the nominees for that are all from the same publisher. Then Kodansha.
Give some webcomics some love.
Yeah. Right. Best web comic.
There we go. Best writer.
Best digital comic. Best web comic. There we go. Best writer. Let's get into it. Okay, here we go. Tom King. Archie. Decisions. Archie. Animal Pound. Oh, just listing a lot of his works.
Yeah.
Rom V. DC writer. Kelly Thompson. DC writer. James Tynan. Major indie writer. I don't know if he has any DC work under this one at all anymore. So nope, he's all into the indies. Jing Yang, Lunar New Year love story. For a second, that's just one story. Wow, look how much work Tynan has done this year, man. That's wild. Blue Book was a letdown. I was excited for that. I was hoping for something like Department of Truth, but just with aliens. It was just the some of the more famous abduction or UFO encounter stories, and they weren't packaging it in. He was basically just making a comic book adaptation of the story. Like if someone you just like heard the story on Art Bell or something, you just put it into a comic format.
I didn't know that Wind had done some new. He had done some new Wind.
I didn't either. I was aware of Something's Killing the Children. I hadn't even heard of the oddly pedestrian life of Christopher Chaos. I never heard of that.
I got the first issue of that, and that was it.
Spectrograph, I remember when that came out. That was early last year, I think. It was an oversized book. I think all of the distillery stuff is in the magazine format.
Yeah.
The Department of Truth is just amazing. I love that book, but I think I'm just primed to like it.
Conspiracy theories. It's got you all over it.
Yeah. It's about my thoughts. Best writer artist. So got the combo pack here. Charles Burns, Emil Ferris, John McKay, Paco Rocco. That's that Hayao Miyazaki film. Oliver Schrowen and Maria Sweeney. I'm not familiar with any of these people.
Nope.
None. Best penciler, inker, or penciler inker team. Felipe Andrada with Rare Flavors. Nick Dragotta, Absolute Batman, Bill Quest Everly, Manu Larson, Senate, Javier Rodriguez, Lee Ewan Farm, Anything ring a bell on there other than Nick Dragotta and Bill Quest Everly?
Yeah, Javier Rodriguez is at the end of Bringing Down the House. That was a good series.
How far did it go for?
It was only like 3 issues. It was magazine size. It was one of those magazine size. It was a black label.
I remember it being black label. I didn't remember it being magazine size. Was it thick or just like full oversized magazine size?
No, it was pretty thick. I mean, it was, at least I think it was. Yeah, it was magazine size. I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha. I remember issue 1. I remember giving some variants away on New DC Day. Absolute Superman wasn't on the best new. That sucks. Yeah. Man, the most recent issue of Absolute Superman was wild. Wallywood, I saw that. What is going on, Drew? Good to see you in here. Jeff the Shark for the win. Zatan is pretty thick. Absolutely. Can't disagree with that.
He should have put KCIHT.
I always put it backwards. That'd been hilarious. Best painter, multimedia artist, Federico Bertolucci, Leanne Corman, Benjamin Fleo, Merwin, Eduardo Riso, Maria Sweeney.
That's cover artist.
I wonder if they just aim intentionally for like newer people, because there's some out there. Best painter, multimedia artist. I don't know what kind of limitations they have on these categories. They have to be interior art, because like you just pointed out, they got the best cover artist. But like, wouldn't Alex Ross just win this like every year?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but hyperrealism, it definitely is good, but is it necessarily,
This is gonna, this is gonna rub some people the wrong way, bro. Hayden Sherman.
Yeah.
Batman Dark Patterns, Superman, Ape Real, Batman the Brave and the Bold, but most notably in recent times, Absolute Wonder Woman. Pretty divisive artist, but not until he got on Absolute Wonder Woman. I think it works great for the story. We don't have to get into that, but I know a lot of people know his name now, or know her name. Is Hayden Sherman a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
I know people know his name now because of Absolute Wonder Woman, but Bill Quest Everly is the only other one on this list that I'm familiar with. But oh, look at this. Evan Cagle I'm familiar with. New Gods is on here. That's funny. Dawn Runner from Dark Horse. It doesn't say DC behind these two, but it has Dark Horse on there. Detective Comics. Evan Cagle's art on New Gods is exceptional. Exceptional. Hayden Sherman is the definition of mid. I agree. But it works really good for that Absolute Wonder Woman story. It really, really fits the narrative. Kind of like how Martin Simmons is the perfect artist for Department of Truth. When I read issue 1, as did a lot of people, I remember it like it was yesterday. So many people had pushback from the art style. Not a fan, not for me. I don't want to pick up more. And I was like, this is rough, but man, I really need this story. I need it in my life. I need it in my brain. So I hung in there with it. By issue 3, I'm like, I cannot picture this book any other way. And it like just helped with the narrative so much. That's how I feel about Hayden Sherman with Absolute Wonder Woman. Like it looks simplistic, but there's a lot of complexity to it. Like a whole lot of intentional line work and emotions that if you just look at it as a simple plain image, you're like, yeah, it looks plain. But when in story, in context, you see the nuances in it. But yeah, see, there you go. I hate the art in Department of Truth. Martin Simmons is like a high-end artist too. Like that's high-end art. But it's very interpretive, and it by design for that book, because a lot of it is supposed to be, you're not supposed to be able to understand what you're seeing. You're supposed to be able to like, oh, there's an entity here. What's real, what's not. Plays out perfect. What's going on, Rich? Good to see you in here. See, best coloring. I'd give that to Monkey. She hasn't gone out of the lines in like the last 3 sheets she did. Jordy Belair. That's a
famous name. Yep.
What else we have here? A lot of DC.
Javier Rodriguez again.
Yeah. And Dave Stewart. Go ahead and give it to Dave. Give it to Dave.
Not even listed there for I want to say he's doing the Long Halloween, the last Halloween too, I think.
Might be. Best lettering. Where's Justin Birch? No Justin Birch. Well, then we can't grace the rest of these people with any credit. Becca Carey, Lena, we don't know their names.
I think that's probably all the
That's
ones.
so terrible. The only letters I know is Justin Birch.
The one I remember is Todd Klein because he did so much in the '80s. He was the Vertigo guy. He did all of Sandman. It was like
That's it.
Yep.
Judges nominate 18 for 2025 Eisner Hall of Fame. Voters will select 6 from induction. And voting's now closed for this, by the way. This is something that anyone could go in and vote for, right?
no, I believe you had to be an Eisner eligible voter, I believe.
Okay. Do we know what makes you such a thing?
I do not.
Names.
Kind of like for the Oscars, you have to be part of the Motion Picture Association of America or whatever, or you have to be part of the Academy. That's what it is, the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences. That's what you have to be.
That makes sense. I just saw where Tim was posting up. You have this many days left to vote, so obviously he wasn't talking to just like everybody. Yeah, it would be cool. We got to figure out how you can. Looks like Thomas Lennon. It is Thomas Lennon. Love that guy. Nominees announced. Hey, Finn.
Hey, Finn.
Yeah, I'd be curious to find out how we can get eligible, Paul, and then we can do like this whole like voting live thing and just shame everybody other than who we want to win.
Yeah.
But he's going in for landing.
Where's he going to land?
On your deck.
Well, that's it. The Eisner Awards. There's a lot of DC love, a lot of titles that I'm reading in there. The spaceship's landing. Pop said, "Hey."
Hi, Pop. What else did he say?
He said, "Hi, Finn."
And what else?
Joe said, "Hey, Finn."
Hi.
Next Bond project is going to be a video game. Yeah, it's going to be like the early days of Bond, looking like Tom Cruise.
What?
James Bond is getting a new video game. He's like a Wish.com Ethan Hunt.
Ooh, I like video games.
He's like this Mission Possible guy, not impossible.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he's tough, isn't he?
Who is?
Finn's watched some of the Mission Impossible now. Wow.
He's the British Verbo
Wow.
of Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shade. Yeah. All right, go.
Okay, he needs to lift.
All right, y'all ready to take a look at some books from this week?
Yeah, we should start with the one that's on the thumbnail.
Ooh.
We got a stack of them here. Is he taken off yet? Has he got it? Don't let me get in your way. Okay. Oh, we had to get the engines revved up. The one that's on the thumbnail, which I would argue is probably the biggest comic event of the year. We're not doing this mega summer event, this summer blockbuster DC story that interrupts all of our ongoing titles that has a bunch of tie-ins. Marvel is doing those things, and as always, they suck, and they're a waste of your time and your money. But he does though. He does though. That's the good part. Thandie Newton. Who was that girl who was just in White Lotus? Who was in number 3? She was in season 3 of White Lotus, but Jules in number 3. Then Rebecca Ferguson, and then most recently Captain Carter. And he does though. And the cool thing about the Mission Impossible girls is they can read, unlike the Bond girl. Oh man. Oh, but yeah, the biggest event for DC Comics just started this week. And what's cool about this is it's a standalone event. It's not in main continuity. It's just its own thing. It's its own thing. And it's round number 2 of the highly anticipated Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. And I know that sounds corny if you're not a fan of any of these things or all of these things, but shockingly, the first one, it was super fun. It's a pure fan service event, but it's not mailed in. This isn't just thrown together. It's thoughtful. It's structured well. Like, it's actually a good story, and it's big fun. Now, I'm been working on a video. I got the thumbnail for it ready, but I want to film it. But where just the MonsterVerse takes over. They did this about 2 years ago. You had Godzilla -1 released the same year as Godzilla Kong New Empire, same year as round 1 of this, same year as Monarch Legends Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV, all of which were smash hits. Monarch was a smash hit for Apple Plus. The second season just wrapped up filming. We should be expecting it sometime late this year, hopefully get started. They just announced the next Godzilla Kong movie called Supernova. Godzilla -2 is in development. So rightfully so, with this selling so well, they did a round 2 of this. And before we get too much in the weeds, I'm just going to go through and show you the covers, Paul, that I picked up. Got the A cover, of course. Beautiful cover art by Christian Douche,
who does the interiors as well.
Yes, he does. Gabriel Hardman did this awesome Green Lantern Flash variant. This looks like the Green Lantern Earth 1 art to me.
Because he's the same artist who did that.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why it looks like it.
Yeah.
This is the 1 in 50 cover by Carlos Deanda.
Mm-hmm.
Some Harley Quinn goodness with Rodan on there. What did Paul at the bookstore call this? The knees and elbow cover when you just got to go. You got to leg it. Let's see. And then we have the John Jang foil.
Mm-hmm.
Foiled out of its mind with Ghidorah on there. Marvel's Godzilla's crossovers have been good. Shirley Mark disagrees with that take, LOL. I haven't picked them up, to be honest with you. Which is wild because I pull everything Godzilla, but I just didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. I knew that this series was going to overlap with it, and I do all covers for this series. And I saw the structure for those. I was just like spread out all over the place. It wasn't just and I didn't want a bunch of one shots, but because I pick up all Hulk stuff, I did get the Hulk one. And I'll be honest with you, that one wasn't good. It wasn't really fun even. And I read everything Hulk, but I got this really cool. It's almost like a boxer poster, like a versus, like this fighter versus this fighter, classic looking. So the cover was really cool. So that was really dope. But I haven't picked up the other ones or anything. I might go back if they do like a collected volume with all of them in there. I would be more interested in that because more than like the cover art, I'd rather just be able to read all the stories, and the ones that are good are good. The ones that are bad are bad. But if you get it all in one volume, you really don't lose that way. You know, you're not paying $5 a book and not enjoying all of them. And they tend to have cover galleries in them. So I'll probably end up looking into that when they come out. But yeah, I'm not anti-Marvel. I'm just anti-crap. That's really that simple. Don't hate the messenger. Beautiful Alan Qua. So didn't know it when I bought this, but I saw the Motu back there. I'm like, that's freaking dope. I saw the skull crawlers. I'm like, they're getting cover love. That's insane. But then I noticed this right here on the side. I'm like, that looks like Rodan's wing. This is going to be a connecting cover. So I don't know how many they're going to go. I'm interested to see if it's only going to be 2. Is it going to be 3? Is it going to be 6? Are we going to stack these things? I don't know. But it's freaking Alan Qua, and he's like a modern day George Perez with how he likes to stack characters all over it. And I'm like, this didn't seem like a lot going on for an Alan Qua cover, but we're just getting started. So I'm excited to see where he goes with that. And I think this was the most talked about cover by people. This is the 1 in 25 Kevin Maguire. Definitely a great cover. It's almost like you can hear the humming of Godzilla charging up. And then I wish I had the other one. This is the Dan Mora. Now, Dan Mora did the 1 in 25 for issue 1 of volume 1. But this is the villains cover. Same cover format. It's almost like a companion cover for it. It's really cool. And then I got a blank, and Finn saw it the second I walked home and drew Kong, Godzilla, and the Skull Crawler on it. That's art only a dad can love, but I love it.
So far they've solicited 3 issues of this, and Alan Qua has a cover in each for each of the 3.
Oh, hell yeah. But it's the Marvel Godzilla. What do you mean?
Yeah, but the the thing I liked about this was where, again, because it's not in continuity, where else can you get a Barry and Iris Allen wedding, Amanda Waller shot and possibly killed, and have a reveal on the last page that it ties into Monarch.
So that was the biggest thing, dude. I dropped the book. So when I say that this is thoughtful, it's not mailed in. This picks up 4 years after the events of the first one, when the Legion of Doom failed with their coup of controlling these kaiju that were having this incursion with the main DC universe.
And a King Shark kaiju.
King Shark kaiju. So all the Legion of Doom members are incarcerated, meaning they're now at the whim of Amanda Waller. She's kind of pulling out the Legion members. She has her squad with her. She's introducing them to what was he, captain? Commander, Colonel. She's got the Colonel with her. We assume it's Rick Flag, but with different facial hair. Like, what's up with his facial hair? So she's got Colonel and her bossing him around, and I'm looking. I'm like, why does he look like this? Like, Rick Flag don't have this facial hair. But anyways, they're taking tech that Lex Luthor has, Magic Enchantress has, and she's working on juicing up some people to try to kaiju them. If she controls supervillains to deal with superheroes, she needs to have her own ability to control kaiju to deal with kaiju. So we test run it on King Shark. He has a skirmish with Godzilla. It's freaking awesome. And then her and the Colonel are arguing about giving these people orders. Like, I'm the boss now. We're the boss. We're a team in this. And Amanda Waller looks at him straight in the face and says, I'm not one to be trifled with. And then you see her eyes get big and it says bang. And like, next panel, it's her drop to the ground with her eyes rolling up in her head, dead. And like him holding a gun where he just shot her square mass in the chest, says, I'm not one to be trifled with. I'm Colonel Lee Shaw, and you're going to know that, and y'all all are going to respect my authority, basically. And it's Kurt Russell from Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Now, he says Lee Shaw the third, so it may be Kurt Russell or it may be his kid. Right. Either way, they're tying it into the Apple TV show Monarch, which was brilliant, and I didn't see it coming, even though I felt something was off with who I assumed was Rick Flag. What a great little twist there. Our regular heroes kind of caught wind of Lex Luthor's power suit becoming turning on, going active, and they're trying to trace the signal, and they traced it to Monster Island, not Skull Island, excuse me, and they're dealing with Wyatt Russell is Kurt Russell. They play the same character in Monarch. Wyatt Russell is Lee Shaw in the 1950s. Kurt Russell is Lee Shaw in present day. Same character, father and son, play the same character in just different time eras during the show. It was amazing. And there are scenes when they're looking at each other, like not in person, but just reminiscing on the past. That show is amazing. Like, Paul had to deal with this Monarch thumbnails for 6 months straight. We're almost there again, Paul. We're getting close.
Yep.
But man, it was good. It had a lot of action, had a lot of I guess team building is a great way to look at it, like setting the stage for the dynamic of the Justice League and where they're at in their lives. Barry's getting married, hasn't told Iris that he's the Flash yet. They're taking bets on who's going to find out first, kind of thing. It was good. It was fun. King Kong rolls up at the end. He doesn't remember them, unfortunately for them. Green Arrow's not there. Green Arrow and Supergirl kind of had the bond with him in the first one, but I highly recommend this. And I immediately thought of Cliff on Comics, who hates Amanda Waller. And if you're a proper villain, people should hate you. But I begged him to go read this first issue. You won't regret it. If for any other reason you finally see someone get Amanda Waller, she's never happens. She never loses. She might not get her plan into action, but she gets away. She gets away with it. Not this time. And she ain't bulletproof. Fantastic first issue.
Absolutely.
Yep. Shaw shoots Waller and then says to everyone, we move on to phase 2. Yeah, he does. That's what they were arguing about too, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, man, it was great. I'm excited. And unfortunately, for me collecting all covers, I'm thinking about having I don't know, we'll see how life goes, but I hope it doesn't affect. I don't ever buy variants like that. I'm an A cover guy. I'll grab a Clayton Crane on an Absolute book and I'll end up doing something with them down the road or clump them for a giveaway or something like that. But these are PC books for me. These all covers for this. And now I feel guilty about getting them. The same, like I bought these the same day that I decided to not repair the Jeep and to buy a new car. So now I'm like, I mean, it's not. I mean, like a couple of comic books doesn't equal a car payment, but it's still, it's still like, where can I save money? But it's awesome. Highly recommend. Here's another one. Came out this week. Paul knows about this book. He's a collector of it. He's actually a fine collector of this book in ways that I'm not. This is Godzilla Heist, issue number 4. And look at that freaking cover.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. It's Bob Egerton, probably the greatest Godzilla artist of all time. Godzilla Heist. This feels like the penultimate issue. It's a little playing with Godzilla history, rewriting it for the narrative of the story. It's kaiju score, team of bad guys infiltrate one of the most secret compounds in all of Britain where Mechagodzilla's underground. The guy who's leading the heist, his mom was like one of the earliest designers of making this happen, and the tech got stolen from her, ruined her life, and this kid grew up in squalor because how the government screwed her out of the tech and ultimately made this. And he who controls Mechagodzilla is the most powerful person on the planet. That's what these villains are trying, or these bad guys who want to go steal it for. They're all double crossing each other, very violent, killing each other. But this guy has a way of using some of the tech he learned from his mom growing up to pretty much make a dog whistle. Not like a whistle, but this high frequency thing that attracts Godzilla. So they attract Godzilla in the town. About everyone's dealing with Godzilla stomping through England. They're out trying to steal this. And as soon as they finally do, they pull him up above ground like, we did it. Let's go. Let's get out of here. And they turn around and Godzilla's standing there. So the final issue, they're going to learn that it don't matter what you got. It ain't enough. But I can't wait to see how it ends. It's been a blast. Outside of the Here There Be Dragons series, which I still say is an ungodly good comic book, Godzilla fan or not, this has been the best Godzilla book that I have read in a while. I think this is the strongest one out there. And again, it's just kaiju score, but it's actually Godzilla version of it. And I didn't read kaiju score because it wasn't Godzilla. So it's my first experience with this story concept. Exactly. Yeah. This guy's almost like he's super smart. He's got like little drones that fly around, almost like T-spheres. He's got it's cool. Me too. Me too. But what you got? What's one that you got for this week?
Actually, the only one besides the two absolutes that we cover on our deep dive is. Did you say number 8?
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
It was good. It felt very 40-ish.
Felt what?
Very 40-ish, like it was from the 40s.
Oh, 40s-ish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think because it was.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think it was appropriate because we just killed off a character and they reminded us of other characters we've lost over the years, but they give us this story right after that where we get to spend it with those characters. So I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get, we see Wotan. We go back to basically find something between Wotan and Mr. Sorrow. Is that his name? I think.
Yeah.
Right.
The floating mask head.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we see that they were basically planning this big thing that would take over the world that can only occur at certain times in history. Doesn't work out for them then, but we find out that what they've been planning through the first 7 issues is basically it now is time for this occurrence to happen again, and that's what they're trying to do. And so it kind of connects the two.
It's possible to get dirty anyways from digging and stuff. Digging down.
What's going on, Aaron?
Hey. Yeah, in fact, someone says the cover hits the 40th target. I think that actually is an homage, I think, to a 40th cover from All-Star Comics, I believe.
Yeah, you got the Axis of Terror. Yeah, we literally take a story in the 40s, and they gave us this story, and it did a lot of things well. For one, we got to hang out with the characters that we were just reminded of we lost along the years. This JSA run has been fantastic by Jeff Lemire, and one thing it does really, really well is includes everybody, the JSAers, the JSA second generation characters, Infinity Inc. And now this issue went back and included the characters that couldn't be here because they Wesley Dodds is dead. Kent Nelson is dead. We just lost Ted. And this story that it wasn't just a flashback for a flashback, but they brought in that Spear of Destiny and this whole plot. They got foiled in the 40s, and how now that's actually moving forward the plot that's been picked up by our villains and that they're trying to do. And any JSA fans know the Spear of Destiny is a reoccurring thing in the JSA stories over the years. So I think it's going to be pretty dope. I've enjoyed it so far. I'm sure I'm going to continue to enjoy it. I hope enough people are reading this. You know what I mean? I think it's really good on them to run a JSA story right now. It doesn't seem like that's where like the fandom really is, you know, but it's a damn good series so far. And they're not wasting any time from issue number 1 of this run. It's just been like they threw you into the deep end and you're just going. What's going on? Hydra says, "What's up, y'all? Did you read The World to Come? I really liked it. I got to hang out with Joe Quesada yesterday. We had him at my LCS, Urbana Comics, Knoxville, Tennessee, for a signing. That's pretty cool. I did not read The World to Come.
I did not, but I know that it's generating headlines because the impression is that Black Panther will be a white person.
Oh, they're talking about the Black Panther book. Oh,
yeah,
that's what Christopher Priest did with Joe Quesada.
Yep.
Yeah. They Christopher Priest knew what he was doing. He's like, I got an idea. We'll get some press out of this. Christopher Priest is like famously known for his run on Black Panther, but it wasn't on my pull list going in, and I didn't go back and grab it because of the hype. If it's good, I might go back and check it out. But I don't know. Says it's interesting. Yeah, T'Challa dies right in the beginning of it, and the throne's being challenged by this air quotes here son of T'Challa, who's a white kid with blonde hair.
I'm not convinced that that's what they're going to go with in the end, but I think that's they left it that way at the end of the first issue because they wanted people to talk about it.
Yeah, smart marketing. And dude, Christopher Priest is a writer that you can set your clock by. It's guaranteed to be quality. Mm-hmm. Like his Superman Lost was exceptional. Mm-hmm. I love that. And right when I'm like, this is kind of feeling long in the tooth, and then that third act, so I'm like, oh, how dare you? Played with my emotions. Yeah, he wrote the last issue of Turok for the Valiant Acclaimed era. It was a Turok Shadow Man crossover because they worked on Shadow Man 2. I just read that the other day, and unfortunately, it was quite literally the worst single issue of Turok I've read so far. But that's just because there's too much. That wasn't Christopher Priest's fault. That was the Acclaimed's fault. There was one of those one of the 3 ones that they did in direct coordination with the N64 games. You had the 2 Turok, and they did them in magazine format. They solicited the Turok Shadow Man to be the next magazine one, but they bailed on that and just did it in a comic and kept all the Shadow Man video game stuff out of it. Even had a note to the readers in the back from the editors apologizing for the magazine and the online book, and we're back to comics, and we're back to what we're supposed to do. Thank y'all for hanging in there with us. And then never had another issue. That was it. I'm like, dude, that's crazy.
Wow.
God, that's crazy. Yeah, Ryan Gosling for Black Panther. I got to talk to him, and he hinted at some stuff coming up, and it's going to get nuts.
Nice.
Yeah, ultimately, this is an Elseworlds, right?
I don't know.
I mean, it's supposed to be in the future, in the future. Of
I haven't read it, so I'm not sure, but
maybe they'll throw him in the Lazarus pit. It'll get better.
Speaking of Ryan Gosling, they just announced his co-star in the next Star Wars movie. Mia Goth is going to play. Apparently,
isn't she from the Scream franchise?
I'm not sure, but apparently she's going to play the bad guy in the new Star Wars movie with Ryan Gosling.
Paul. Bad girl. The bad gal. Speaking of bad gals, the last book I have for this week, I think, this was a small week outside of just the Justice League Godzilla variants, but Monsters, issue number 5.
Ooh.
And I always pick up 2 covers for Monsters. But I got it's called The Haircut Bride. This is part of the story, by the way. Mm-hmm. And there's the main cover, which that's the main part of the story. You got the kids running from the last issue trying to get home, and they stopped at a little convenience store to catch their breath, where the Wolfman just happens to catch up. So they run from their life from the Wolfman Slayer, wraps up some stuff with Dr. Jekyll from how he had to deal with Hyde in a couple issues ago by just killing Dr. Jekyll. And then it's a fight between him and the Wolfman with the base of a water tower where the kids ran up it for their lives. Meanwhile, the bride is back at Dracula's castle, where Igor chops up and gives her a haircut for reasons we'll see coming up. We know that all these monsters are being gathered by Dracula for reasons we're not quite sure of yet. I just assume this is Monster Squad, and I'm cool with that. Like, we got the kids now. perfect. You know, we're throwing Slayer in there to make it something different. He's super cool, right? And then Dracula's gathering all the monsters for, you know, you got to open the portal, bring the end of the world, all that. Maybe bring Old Man Van Helsing. Who knows? Just Monster Squad it. Wolfman's got Nards. But I'm having fun with it. The art's really fun. But yeah, good stuff. And I had a Kickstarter come in. Can I show you this real quick?
Sure.
So I did this Kickstarter for the for Godzilla the Hunted.
Oh, yeah.
They did this right before Godzilla X Kong New Empire came out, right? This is what the Kickstarter was for. This is the bridge between Godzilla versus Kong and Godzilla X Kong New Empire. This book literally ends with the fight from the opening scene of New Empire, where they were in Rome and Godzilla fought Skrilla, the big spider-looking thing in the opening scene. Then he crawled up in the Colosseum. This ends with them running at each other, just like how the movie started. So this was awesome. Christian Ward did some cool art for it. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Christian Ward is amazing. But I backed this in a way that they produced another original book for it. And it was called Monsterverse Declassified, featuring 4 stories. And most notably, Doug, which is like, if you're a Monsterverse fan, like you're a Doug fan. You just can't not be. Doug was shown for all of 2.5 seconds in Godzilla versus Kong, when Kong first gets to Hollow Earth and he's like hopping around and he ultimately finds his way to the old throne room of his family and he finds the axe and all that. But Doug was just a character he ran by, and he became a fan favorite, and everyone wanted to know more about Doug. And ultimately they put him in New Empire, and he was like Kong's little buddy. When Kong came back and sat down and was eating, Doug was stealing his food and everything. But you get a Doug story in here. Mammoth, who's been another one of those, like, the fans want to know more since Godzilla King of the Monsters, when you see him wake up and he's like just mistaken for a mountain and he's kind of walking. But then there's Tiamat, who ultimately Godzilla killed in New Empire to consume that energy that turned him pink. Ultimately, he hit that evolved form. And then a spider creature that I can't even pronounce the name properly. It's like Abaddon or something like that, who's popped up. So it just gives you more stories on these side characters that we've seen pop up in movies that we don't get a lot of context on. And the cool thing is, because I backed the thing, it came with this Monarch magnetized little thing, and this came with that, and it came with like a cardboard insert that you could take out and take the book that they'd sent out already, because they didn't want you to have to wait on this before the movie while they produced this, and they both fit in their magnetizes.
Nice.
How cool is that?
And all those stories are exclusive just to that set? Like,
Yes,
they didn't appear somewhere else or anything? They just collect
yeah, these are originally published in this precious volume,
That's
precious
nice.
tomes. Yeah. Yo, dude, Chaos, I talk about it pretty often, dude. I say it often that Godzilla has never been more popular than he is right now. It's a great time.
I already called it
Man.
for the year.
You did. But yeah, there's a ton of Godzilla books out, and Godzilla adjacent books. Like Mothra has her own miniseries right now. Skate or Die just wrapped up. You have that new Godzilla story about to start that was teased at Free Comic Book Day. What's going on, Billy? Just all kinds of good stuff. All kinds of good stuff. Here There Be Aliens is out. Heist has one more issue. They do those foil reprints of like the iconic covers regularly. The 70th anniversary one just dropped. But it's pretty cool. And then there's a Kickstarter that just finished up. It was a Monarch book, The Lost Adventures or Lost Files or something like that. But it's literally about the characters from the TV show. So we know that Rand and Lee Shaw and Miko, the 3 of them, that their OG team of Monarch, they have a lot of story to tell. Like that show showcases different parts, but they did a lot of investigating, a lot of discoveries of Titans, all kinds of stuff. And then there's the modern day stuff and the whole Axis Mundi, that area of existence that they discovered in there. You have Hollow Earth, you have the surface, but you have Axis Mundi in between, where Lee Shaw went to, and where they ultimately had the big battle at the end, where you go through these portals to get to Hollow Earth to do that like gravity jump, but that's not the only place. There is an in-between place, like a sideways place, and I'm excited to dive into more of that. This place. where that fight took place, where the coldest entrance in TV show history happened. Where they thought they were about to get killed by an ion dragon, and that just walks in out of left field. And you're like, oh, let's freaking go. But I ended up, there was an A cover, a B cover for it, featuring different cast members together on it. But they had a Kickstarter exclusive cover, the hardback that came with a hard slip sleeve that's die cut with a footprint. It's the Ion Dragon, the big villain from the series that ultimately picked that boat up and took it to the jungle that was talked about in Kong Skull Island. That John Goodman's character said, "This is when I first discovered there's these things." Was that boat that we saw that in episode 2 of Monarch? It actually happened, but they're going to show us the story where the Ion Dragon actually does it in that book.
Wow.
And I need that in my life.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's all that popular. Just the books are just everywhere. No, he's legitimately that popular. Supernova is in production right now. Godzilla -2 is in production right now. Monarch Legacy of the Monsters Season 2 is wrapped up filming. All 3 of those things were massive hits. Godzilla Justice League Volume 2 is out because the first one did bangers. He's actually that popular. It's crazy. If you go back through Outweeks in the most viewed episode of this live stream, which is just for we do this, the stuff we're into, was when we did the Godzilla movie review, the spoiler special, talking that out of all the Marvel, DC, TV shows, everything we talk, that one had over, I think, 600 views now. And these things normally get like 100 something to 200 something views. That had over 600 something views because people were going back and watching it. It's crazy. There's just different. It's kind of like Avatar. You would assume Avatar is not popular, but why don't you release a movie and watch what happens? The fandom don't all act the same. Like Star Wars fans, toxic. Marvel fans, toxic. I'm included in that. I'm counting myself in there. You can call me toxic at some of this stuff, but it's some of these fandoms, they just enjoy it and they show up for it. They don't get online and get loud, rowdy, or ignorant about it. They just show up when you make it. I know I'm a week or 2 late. Grabbed a copy of Exquisite Corpses this week and got the only polybag with trading card. Was wondering if all issues have the same card or different ones. I'm not sure on that, and I have my copy of that sitting somewhere. I think it's just sitting right behind me. Yeah, I haven't read my copy yet. I got one, and then I put it back here in this giveaway stack because I'm like, I'm not going to read that. I read like 3 pages. I'm like, this ain't bad. And then I had to do something, and then I'm like, I'm not going to keep buying this.
I didn't get the polybag one, so I don't know. I got no card.
Best way to find out, Jeff, is to buy a lot more. Go on eBay, pay 3 times over cover prices, buy as many as you can. Just start opening them. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can probably just Google and find out. Save a lot of money that way. And a big shout out to Jeff. Thank you so much. Again, by the way, he donated a bunch of these. If you don't know, I do the new DC Day stream on Tuesdays. And always do new comic giveaways with it. Always throw trading cards, stickers, spend a bonus prize wheel for super chat goals and stuff. And I've been throwing these in there as well that he donated for the giveaways. But he's always throwing some cool stuff my way to pass it back out on the channel. So big shout out and thank you to him. Or there was one just a screen that could find its way to me. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, you can check eBay to see if there's other cards, though, if you're curious. But that's all I got for tonight. You got anything else, Paul?
I'm good.
That's a wrap then. Make sure, I didn't mention it earlier, y'all go back in my videos, look for this thumbnail. The Epic Summer Giveaway is still live. You got the first Sunday in July, me and Paul will draw the winners. It'll be a pretty big giveaway show, I guess. But there's numerous ways to enter, numerous ways to win, bunch of different prizes. Everybody can get in where you fit in. And if you're a channel member in the Legion tier, you will be on an exclusive wheel for some of the bigger prizes. So be sure to check that out. And don't forget to go to Big Time. I always want to say Big Time Collectibles. comicscuringcancer.bigcartel.com to pick up your copy of the 2025 C3 art book, as well as The Crow Dead Time #1, the 2 exclusives that we will have for Heroes Con to support the American Cancer Society. Comics Curing Cancer 2025 is rolling and rolling heavy. Both exclusives have been announced. Both exclusives are available for pre-order, and limited supplies because we are going to take a specific number with us to Heroes Con. So if you're at Heroes Con, come see us at the booth. This isn't all we got, guys. There's going to be some stuff that won't be shared out publicly that will be seen at that booth by live attendees first and foremost. You don't want to miss out. Paul can tell you, you don't want to miss out.
You don't want to miss out.
Told you. Told y'all. See there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hearing it from me is one thing. You can take me with a grain of salt, but Paul ain't going to lie to you. I'll look you right in the face and lie to you.
That's one right there.
My comic shop is shutting down.
Oh, no.
What? All right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. I hate it for you, but I'm not here for problems. We're here for solutions. If you check the link in the description, ABX Comics and Games has got you covered. If you don't have a comic shop, or if your comic shop is shutting down, you can hit up ABX Comics and Games, set up a pull list with them. They do mail-in lists, so you won't have to miss out on anything you're looking forward to, including Benjamin Percy's upcoming brand new ongoing Punisher series. They'll pull it for you. They'll mail it to you. You'll never miss an issue. The greatest comic shop in all the lands, ABX Comics and Games. They are the community's comic shop. I'm not even joking. They're my LCS. They're Alan, the Comic Vikings LCS, Pop's Addicts LCS. Burt Family 54 Comics is in Kansas, and he uses them as a long-distance comic shop. The adventurous one, Joseph Michaels, in our chat, uses them as a long-distance comic shop. Brian LCS, Geek Out with Roscoe. So many members of this community.
Does Dur still use them?
Durs uses them. Yep. So many people in this community are now using ABX to secure their books. And Billy, the good thing is, I forget how far away you are. I know you are technically in driving distance. It doesn't mean it's something you can do every week, but you can always pull them and make a monthly trip down or something. Coordinate with me. I live 2 minutes from them. They're right outside my neighborhood. Meet you up there. Make a day of it. Hang out. Get lunch. We can get our lunch and go eat it at the shop. We can do whatever you want. They'll give you an excuse to come hang out, is what I'm saying. But yeah, Jeff pulls his books. I can drive there in 3 minutes or walk. Yeah, there's so many people in this chat that are local and not local that all use ABX Comics and Games. But yeah, definitely consider it, man. If you got some books like you legit don't want to miss out on, they got you covered, man. They got you covered. And you just check them ahead of time, get that cover you want, and you're all set. You're all set. But that's going to do it for tonight. People, go enter that giveaway. Did I even record content for tomorrow? I think I had some videos ready. I might drop the Star Wars mystery unboxing tomorrow. I think that's what it'll be tomorrow. Star Wars mystery unboxing.
The Ahsoka one? Is that the one?
You just ruined the mystery. I'm going to drop a different video tomorrow. It's no longer a mystery. Yeah, no, I've gotten ahead on content, which is great because this week has been that. But I got I'm working on a Monsterverse video because there's a lot of stuff. We kind of touched on some of it tonight, but as we get it out there to a wider audience. Yeah. Maybe let's go to Legion of Geeks or Previews Pool Box. No, you would just they don't have a set up online pool. You just call them, or you would just direct message them through Facebook. You just shoot them your pool, and he puts them on your pool list, and then they're there. It's literally direct communication with the owner of the shop. You can't beat it. You don't have to worry about some online BS, clicking boxes, making sure you check this. You want something, you talk to the human being via message or phone. Doesn't get better than that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Human to human interaction. People helping people. It's a powerful thing. Boom. Yeah, you can check out the adventurous one. Joe does his ABX monthly comic calls. Burt Family 54 does the same thing. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Billy's been to ABX. He came to Free Comic Book Day 2024. It was fun, man. That was a fun Saturday. This last one had a double time out of there to get Finn to his first sword clinic. My little man's learning how to use a sword.
Hey, you never know when the predators are going to strike.
You never know. Or as Paul at ABX says, S word. That is a good word. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. It's been a fun show. What is this? Man, I wish I could make it. I text you. Oh, the cookout's not tomorrow. The details are tomorrow. Got it. Yeah. Dude, life is crazy right now. Yeah, just text me on my phone, not on social media, because I ain't going to see it on social media. You got my number. But, yeah, thank y'all all for coming and hanging out. I needed this wind down, this hangout. I hope everyone has a fantastic week. Hope it goes good for you. And I'll see y'all Tuesday at 2 p.m. for new DC Day stream. Me and Paul will not see you this week for Guess That Key. It's an off week, but the following week at 9 p.m. on his channel, we'll be back for Guess That Key. His direct link is in the description of all my videos as well. But you can catch us on a recorded video tomorrow at 10 a.m. on his channel, where we go through and review Absolute Superman from this past week and Absolute Green Lantern. And both of them are absolutely bonkers. So if you're not reading those, you can follow along. Every week we put up whatever Absolute videos, we go through them. You can keep up with them through that and figure out if you want to start pulling them, as well as any DC events that are happening in real time right now. We're going through. We were yesterday, the Mark Waid, Dan Morris story. So keep up with the main things happening at DC through the DC Deep Dive right there, Sector 2815. Until next time, as always, I'm Mark, he's Paul, but we are Legion.
Is that it? Is that all you got?